So normally I'm behind the camera and Vanessa's giving you the campground reviews, the vlogs, everything like that. But today she asked me to sit down, host a little interview with one of our friends we met here at a local campground, and we're gonna tell you a little bit about his experience and work camping and what's that like, because, well, honestly, after chatting with you, it's something that we're thinking about now.
It's fantastic. It's really easy to do.
Awesome. So let's dive right in. Why don't you start and tell us who you are, where you're from?
So I'm Alex. I work here with my wife, Jessica. We just kind of came from Spokane, sold our house, and didn't have a plan. And then we met a host over in the coast, and she hooked us up with work camping. And 3 days later, got a contract. This is day 12 for us.
Nice. So what sort of like inspired you to try work? Like selling your house is a big move. We know, we've done it. That's not something you just take lightly, but like what sort of inspired you to sell the house and pursue this?
So in general, I'm kind of the kind of guy that if I get lost in the woods, you'll never find me and I'll be fine. That's always been me. My wife, though, she has not been the same way, but she's always liked the outdoors. And then we just had a lot of things happen within the year, marriage, couple losses in the family. And we finally decided that we would be better off if we sold the house and just started anew. And so we figured, let's go on an adventure.
What an adventure. Like
Yes.
This whole lifestyle is quite an adventure, whether you're work camping like you are, whether you're traveling full time like we are. So it's pretty exciting. Now, is this your first gig?
Yes, we just started this 12 days ago, and it is our first ever contract doing this.
Okay, well, why don't you tell everybody where we're at right now? What campground is this? Where are we located?
So this is Mount Baker, Swift Creek.
Okay.
This is the #1 salmon fishing location in Washington State. Even if you're on the East Coast, you'll hear everybody talk about Swift Creek is the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are there a lot of campgrounds around this lake other than just this one?
Yes, there's a lot of dispersed camping across the lake. A lot of boaters go over there and camp for free. And then we have about 7 campgrounds along here, anywhere from Bayview, Horseshoe to Panorama, Lower Sandy and Shannon Creek. So we have quite a bit that are all run by the same company in this whole area.
Awesome. So I guess let's start at the beginning, to be cliche, but like how does one get into work camping? So like how did you get into it specifically in terms of like finding this hosting position, and how would somebody like Vanessa and myself who are thinking about doing this, how would we go about it?
So there's 2 ways that we had learned. One is the obvious, it's Indeed, and you just look up camp hosts. The other one that you can do is Work Campers without the C, one word. It's weird, it's Workampers.
Yeah.
And what you do is it's $47 a year.
Okay.
And what you can do is hotspot locations. So if you know you're going to be somewhere, you turn on this hotspot location. You'll still get a newsletter with everything that's open in the area, everything that comes up daily. But if it's in your location that you hotspot, it'll specifically send those ones to you so that you can apply.
So you're getting alerts for the places you want to be.
Absolutely.
So
and
if we wanted to be here, we would set up a hotspot for the Mount Baker or the Washington State, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And then if something pop open, it would be specifically tailored, but we could still peruse all of the other jobs.
Exactly. And this is a program that not only do the people looking for jobs, pay for, but the employers pay for the app as well. And so they know that we're traveling. So you could do anything from host camping to running a gift shop.
Okay.
And there's all kinds of different jobs, even doing maintenance for the campgrounds. And they know that you're traveling, so they'll set you up. And the contracts are not how much time you have to be there. It's not like a contract like you can't leave. It's a contract of what the company is going to give you for you to be able to work that job.
Got it. So for this specific position where we are right now, you are the camp host. Like that's your title?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, what does a typical day look like? And you said your wife is hosting with you.
Yes.
So couples position. So there are couple positions out there, which is great. But like, run me through your average day. Like, what did you do before you came over and hung out with us tonight?
So it's actually a really simple rotation. We found what works with us, right? Because you always start how they train you. And then from there, because you're a couple and you're working, you get paid regardless for the time that they give you. So there's no overtime. You don't do any overtime. And so our routine is in the morning, I drop her off at the office with her computer.
And that's here in the campground?
That's here in the campground.
Okay.
It's the only spot that we have internet and power so that she can actually do it. And we basically do all the different envelopes that come in for different things like extra vehicles and stuff like that. Camping spots that are first come, first serve, and day use.
Okay.
So she does all the accounting on that. Why I go around and I clean up bathrooms. They're vault toilets, which is really simple. It's scrubbing the inside, scrubbing the outside, replacing toilet paper, sweeping. All our chemicals are approved by wildlife and everything. And so then after I do that, I come back, I grab my sheets for the day for reservations.
Okay.
That's when I go over, and any turnovers or anybody leaving, I clean up their campsite. Just make sure there's no microplastics and no wood left over in the fire
Leave any
pits.
trash behind or
Exactly.
anything like that.
We try to keep it clean. I mean, it's not like we go above and beyond, but I want to make it look nice. I want to make it look like when you're coming here, you're the first one that's here.
Right, and we've observed that. The campsites are clean, the grounds are well taken care of. For pit toilets, I got to give you credit.
Thank you.
They smell clean, they feel clean, they look clean, and that's not always been our experience with pit toilets.
Well, the benefit to it is I can't breathe through my nose, so this is the job for me. So anyway, after reservations, I'll take my wife with me to do all the placards, which is all the signs by the number for the campsites.
Yep.
We just update them with initials and reservations so that everybody knows where they're going when they come in and they can see their reservations there. Then we just label anything that's open for the night, first come, first serve, on the board by 2. After that, it's just like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we go around, check bathrooms one more time, just a quick checkup, make sure they look good, and then we collect all the pay envelopes that we can do in the next morning.
Got it. And you were telling me when I met you the other day that while you have some minor grounds duties, you don't actually have to worry about like cutting the grass or anything like that because you have a maintenance person for that, or tell me about that.
So the maintenance guy, his thing is mowing the entirety of the place.
Yep.
Also cleaning up doing the weed whacking along the driveways in. But I still do have to maintain the campsites. So like our tent sites are obviously sand basin, and then they've got the railroad ties that go around.
Yep.
I have to make sure those are clear of weeds because we want to make sure that people know this is where you can put your tent. You're not going to get poked.
We've got one right over there.
Yep.
There's no weeds, nothing at all.
Exactly.
So super great place to pitch a tent if you don't have the rooftop tents like we do.
Absolutely, and they're really the sand just makes it easy, and it's I mean that's the most of my duty for maintenance.
Okay.
That's about it. I just take care of my campsites.
All right, so pretty chill.
Yeah.
Pretty chill. What's your favorite part about the job, honestly?
The best part is the view.
The view?
I mean, right where our host site is, when we walk out the door, we get a whole glimpse of Mount Baker right through the trees. And you got Douglas firs, which are amazing, and and then you've got green rivers, you got blue water in the lake, you've got the snowy peaks, Douglas firs. It's just a beautiful place, and you can't get that without paying a hefty price.
Yeah, no, the campsite that we're in, which fortunately was open, somebody canceled the reservation when we met you the other day, and we were able to quickly secure it and come here for a couple of days. I mean, the sun's going down right now, but we've got snowy mountain peaks in the distance. We've been watching a bald eagle soar across the way. We've got the turquoise waters that people are like kayaking and paddleboarding in. So I get it. I'm in love.
It's a lively place. Most of our people that stay here, we've heard plenty of stories. They come here 10 years now, 5 years now, 20 years, back when it used to be a resort.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we used to have a shop and cabins out here when they were leased by another company, and it was a long time ago, but they still come out here every year.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the most, let's flip that around, what's the most challenging part of the job? You can't tell me it's the toilets because you told me you can't smell.
Oh, I mean, you still have to scrub. But Yeah, if you got to climb in there, it's
Wait, you don't have to do that, do you?
I mean, we've got a brush on a post, but I do have to scrub inside those toilets.
But you don't actually have to clean out the vaults themselves.
No.
Okay.
Whew, no. No, I would say the worst part is that because of the way things work with like turning in the money on a certain day and like doing the accounting, and then also people having their days off, the maintenance guy, you know, our floater, things like that, our supervisor, we work most of the time 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, up at 7 and then we're out the door at 8, already started on our day, but we don't really get a day off. It's that's probably the hardest part on it, just because you need one once in a while, you know.
But you're not going from when you get up at 7 to like when you said you make your last rounds at 7. You're not going 12 hours a day.
No, it probably takes me 3 hours a day to do my job.
Okay.
And then maybe an hour later, depending on how the bathrooms look when we check them. The best part is it's not work. This is not a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, and so it doesn't hurt as much getting up every day when you know that you're going to be done in a few hours and sitting back at your camp.
Yeah, and then you get to really enjoy the campsite. We have a question behind the camera.
Yes. Have you heard that is that normal, or in some work camper situations, are you able to work 4 days, 3 days off, 5 days, 2 days off?
So what Vanessa's asking, just for the benefit of me having a microphone on and she doesn't, she wants to know if this is normal, like 7 days, but the hours are broken up, or is it like 4 on, 3 off, or again, this is your first gig, but what do you know of it so far?
So it's all kind of done by contract, right?
Okay.
So everything's going to be different. They don't have to, you know, offer you this certain thing that they offer you. So it all depends on what contracts you find and what ones you're willing to do. So you'll see some where it's 4 on, 4 off. You'll see some where they don't pay you a wage. It's $5 stipend a day. You know, and it depends on what contract you're willing to take. But to take this one and get a day off every so often, I'm okay with 7 days a week,
right.
You know. And not to mention town is like 30 minutes away. So if we need anything, we just drive over and get what we need.
Now, it's a beautiful lake. You're able to just go out in the afternoon, take the paddleboard out, or hit the water, something like that. Enjoy some time out of the water, and then come back and do your evening rounds and still work, but you're kind of breaking it up with all the things that we love about camping and the outdoor lifestyle.
Absolutely. I mean, even though we haven't had a chance to go out fishing for salmon, we've even had a lot of the customers come in and bring us salmon. So we have fresh salmon. We didn't even have to go fishing. My wife went out today to go paddleboarding, do a little GoPro video. We went out the other day to do a little recon mission, fixing a buoy. And we just go out there sometimes just to look. And then we like to hike. There's a hot spring here.
Okay.
Have yet to be to it, but we will be taking that time. And then you do have plenty of time. So if we leave at like, say 2 o'clock and we want to go into town, we could be back at 7 and do our final rounds. We could be back at 8. We could be back at 9. It doesn't matter as long as we come back and do our rounds at the end of the day.
You've talked about work campers and like where you can go to look for the jobs, but you know, how would you recommend to someone that's watching or to Vanessa and I about breaking into this? Like, she's got an entrepreneurial background, a retail background, I have a corporate America background. Like, how would we go without these types of campground hosting experience under our belt and land something like this?
So other than, you know, the resume that I found you can make, that's a lot simpler. On Workampers, you can see an idea of it, an example, and it'll show you how to set it up. The other thing is you got to think about what these jobs actually taught you. So when you're in retail, you just say, I was in retail, and you just think, oh, that means you can work in retail. No, you did customer service, you managed money, you managed items, products, you cleaned up after yourself. You actually have skills that are used out here.
So it's more about the skills that you can bring from previous roles than necessarily having, like, I was a camp host before, or, you know, I was a maintenance guy or something like that. If you've got these transferable skills, that's what you really want to hit on when you're looking to apply.
Exactly. You want to break down yourself and see what you're capable of doing and what you've gained over time, because we don't just gain the job title, we gain what we did at the job. And that's what we did. We broke down what we had learned through all of our experience, and then we threw that in for our experience. Instead of just saying retail, we said what we did. Instead of just doing, one thing, we made sure they knew everything we did that would mean something to a place like this.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense and gives me some ideas about how we could shape our own resumes and things like that. Like, it sounds like it would be practical that Vanessa and I have remodeled a couple of houses before, like the handyman skills, or the fact that I've done, it was years ago, but I did professional landscaping on a military base and things like that. So it sounds like all of those are translatable. It's not necessarily what did you do last and who you worked for. It's all these sort of soft and hard skills that are related to, well, the position.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said. We don't want to do the original resume. We just want to show what we know.
Got it.
And they want that. They want the honesty. They don't care about our history. That's pretty much what they're looking for.
So when we think about the different types of jobs, we talked about the locations and the hot spots, the couples, and both couples get paid. Are all of the work camping gigs paid?
Not all of the working camp jobs are getting paid. So one of the ones that we saw, a lot of Oregon is volunteer. They'll pay for your spot, so technically you're getting paid.
So you get your housing accommodations,
yes,
essentially covered, but then you're still on your own for groceries and...
Yeah, and usually when they do these volunteer ones, they're not full-time. So you're volunteering 25 hours a week or 20 hours a week to do a job. You still get days off where they're not expecting you to do anything, and they're still paying for your spot. Most of them will pay for your spot, your water, your electric, your sewer, and sometimes Wi-Fi, cable. It all depends on what you're looking at, but not all follow that specific rule. It just depends on what you have to be able to do these jobs. Are you capable of going and volunteering for 5 months? Are you capable of doing that and living off of what you saved? Or do you need to make sure that you're making 40 hours a week? These are the things you have to look at when you're looking for the jobs.
Yeah, and do they pretty clearly list like what the pay rates are for the jobs, like
Absolutely.
X number of an hour? And do they guarantee like a minimum number of hours a week or so? What about your situation? Are you guaranteed 40 a week?
Yes, we're guaranteed 40. So whether we work it or we don't, we still receive our 40 hours a week.
And if you work 50, because I know people are going to want to know, if you work 50 or 60, are you getting time and a half?
So we don't get that on this one, but the way this works is our ops manager, very cool guy, he specifically said that if you hit your overtime, stop. Just stop. Somebody else will take care of the campsite for that day. Don't do any more than what you're required to do. So when they tell you 40 hours a week, they're usually not saying do overtime. They will not push you. You get some, what we've learned is sometimes you get supervisors that still have that 9 to 5 mentality. And they're doing the same thing. They're work campers as well. They don't work here full time like it's a regular job, but they still have that mentality. And I think what we need to remember is we came out here not to do a 9 to 5. We came out here to explore and adventure. And if you're working so hard that you're not doing that, it might be time to leave.
That is so important. The reason that Vanessa and I are traveling and doing what we do is we don't want to work the 9 to 5. We want to explore, we want to travel. The reason that you're work camping is because you don't want to do the 9 to 5. So this is not the 9 to 5 lifestyle. Now, I'm sure there are some, if you're running a gift shop, it might have a little more standard hours than a campground host or something like that.
Right.
But it sounds like all of these different contracts, you're going to be able to pick and choose sort of what you want to apply for.
Exactly. And if everybody is on the same mind that they want to make some money doing this, eventually those places that aren't offering money will. We just have to work together, right? We have to work together. So if you, I mean, like I said, we don't expect a 9 to 5, but at the same time, we do this for the fun of it, but we also need to make our money doing this. We're doing work, we should get paid.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And the volunteer ones, I think there's a time and place for that. If you're a retired couple or you're drawing a retirement or Social Security or something like that, and then you've also got a free site, and it's something to do to keep you active and going, I think that makes sense. But I think, for the majority of people, they're looking to make something out of it, and ideally it's not going to be a great amount. We're not going to retire
We're
off
not going
of
to get
something
rich.
like this,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're not building this massive 401k probably doing this, but we're able to sustain ourselves and enjoy ourselves, and like you said, not work that 9 to 5.
Exactly. I mean, and the big goal is bring your bills down as much as you can.
Right.
Right. That's a big thing. If you're only paying for internet, cell phones, any wage that you find out here is pretty much going to work for you.
So let's talk about that for a second, because I want to hear from you. What sort of living situation does somebody need to be a work camper? Right. You have an RV.
Yes.
Travel trailer.
20-foot travel trailer, yeah.
We have our 30-foot travel trailer that you guys have seen, and if you haven't, start watching more of Vanessa's videos, please.
Do it.
But good hook. I did not pay him to say that.
He's gonna.
He's mixing the drinks. It's so weird. But do they have to have an RV? Is there like a requirement? Could they do it in a schoolie? What if they don't have an RV and they want to work camp and they're like, screw the 9 to 5? Like, talk to me. What do they need?
So a big thing here is I don't know.
Okay.
But from what I've seen, since we've met other hosts, I've never seen a host do their job in a tent.
That'd be a little rough.
I've never seen that, right? You got to have some kind of amenities, because what do we say? The biggest thing that reminds somebody of civilization is a working toilet. So I've seen people do this in a GMC van that they converted into a camper. Okay. Right? I've seen people do this in the tent trailers. I've seen them do it in RVs. I've seen them doing it in camper trailers. And I think the big thing is just you need to have something that looks decent, right? Because a lot of RV parks have this idea where you have to be within 10 years of the model.
So old, no schoolies.
Exactly.
It's got no broken windows.
But we've seen older ones that are fine. You just have to take care of them, make them look nice, because you're presenting the camp to the customers, but you're the one presenting.
Well, you're the face. Like, you are the face. Like, when we pulled up, you and your wife came walking up to our trucks, and we're like, hey, how you guys doing, right? You were the first people that we saw. So, probably wouldn't be ideal to work camp out of the rooftop tents. Probably makes a little bit more sense if we had the 30-foot travel trailer. But are there any that provide housing accommodations to your knowledge or anything like that?
We have seen some. It's usually places that are a little more common. Like, you usually have these places like, I want to try explain it in a way that makes sense. So, like, if you're doing work for, say, Job Corps, they provide cabins. And that is a thing that you can do on your way. You can apply for Job Corps, and you can be a maintenance guy, or you can be staff, and you still get paid, and you can rent out their housing, their cabins. But as far as we've seen, we haven't come across any applications that actually have a housing setup.
Okay, but I mean, at the end of the day, selling your house and getting even a 30-foot, 20-foot, 25-foot travel trailer is substantially less expensive than the sticks and bricks.
Yes.
Your payment's going to be so much lower than a mortgage, and this is primitive camping, but I'm going to assume that you have water, electric, sewer in the host campsite.
That's correct.
Is that common for the host to have hookups even when everybody else doesn't?
It is.
It is. So you've got some creature comfort since you're here full time?
Yes, we do. It was a little fight getting our Starlink working, which we pay for the Starlink. We get that set up.
I mean, the line of sight here is pretty tough to get through the trees.
Yes,
I get that.
I mean, we got a killer spot. I will go out of my way to get internet so I can keep that spot. But it's, the water, the electricity and the water are such a big help. And then, of course, sewer, you got to dump station somewhere. Otherwise, you're spending all your free time going back and forth, dumping your
carting
trailer.
Back and forth.
Exactly.
The campground we're at now with our travel trailer doesn't have sewer hookups. It's only like 8% of the park. So when we get back from this, I've got a gray tank that's got to get hauled off, and a few days later we'll be hauling the black. So that's great to know, because I wouldn't want to be somewhere for a few months and working, and then I'm also having to haul and just kind of do all that extra work, which
Exactly.
it's okay when I'm camping, but when I'm also working as well, I kind of want to minimize some of that personal effort there. So
Well, and we learned too that we've talked about when it's time to maybe downgrade, do like a camper and a truck bed camper, and maybe haul a boat behind us. But
okay,
the big thing is when you're doing these contracts can be like 6 months at a time.
okay,
So what you got to think is your creature comforts, right? You can get a smaller camper so that your caravanning is easier, but you're going to be sitting in a spot for months at a time. You kind of need a little more space.
so. And you're not caravanning so much, so are you willing to make the caravan a little bit tougher on you if you're only going even every quarter? That's still not bad. I mean,
Yep.
a lot of times, like, we're not moving fast compared to how we used to travel, but we're still moving every 2 to 3 weeks or so. And, we try to keep it under 4 to 5 hours a trip. But yeah,
I like that.
I imagine that would be a little rough. So definitely make sure that whatever sort of accommodations you have, you're comfortable in them, because that is going to be your home base for the duration of that contract. And hey, look, if it doesn't work out, you can always trade in. That's what we did. We hit the road with our trusty 20-foot travel trailer that we crossed the country in several times. And as we were full time, we're like, we got a new big dog. We have a teenager now instead of a 10-year-old. We needed more space. So we upgraded along the way, and now it's perfect. So definitely make sure that your accommodations are great. What would you say is the best, if you had to pick one skill that a work camper or a campground host would just really make them shine and stand above everybody else? What is that skill?
Customer service.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
define
can-
that. Define that
so
for me.
the big
in this
thing
sense.
is here they want you to be they want to answer or get answers for questions of like, how are the fish biting today?
Okay.
What's the weather going to look like? Where can we go for trails? The big thing is when you're talking to other customers, absorb whatever information they give you. When you come into, like if the forest department comes in here, I'll go chat with them and find out anything new, because I know I'm going to be asked about it later. We don't get a lot of rude customers. We don't get a ton. I've only had a few that came through here, and you just got to keep your cool, because after everything, they're either going to stay or they're not going to stay. Mm-hmm. And you just got to keep yourself up on that one. So dealing with bad customers is not usually a big thing we have to worry about here. It's just absorb all the information that you can so that you can repeat it to anybody else that needs that information.
Well, it's like when you were telling us there's hot springs nearby, it's a great time of year for salmon and all those other types of things. That's sort of more than just, hey, you're in Site 38, the toilets are there, lock your food up at night, kind of thing. So like, it's that extra step, it sounds like, that just really makes it a memorable experience and is really going to help you shine, your campground shine, and therefore the employer with your contract is going to love that. And now when your contract ends, like, do you come back the next year, or do you just constantly hop around, or how does that work?
So it all depends on what you want to do.
Okay.
But after 5 days of us doing this, we were offered the contract for next year.
5 days.
5 days.
And you already locked
and we
in.
already locked it in.
That's the customer service element right there. Must have been killing it to lock it in on your first work camping.
Yes.
5 days, never done it before, and locked in next year's contract.
Well, we got offered to do a contract for Redwoods next year, and I would love to do the Redwoods. I was raised in that area.
Beautiful area.
But after doing a few weeks here, I'm like, I want to be here at least another year. I want to get more under my belt. I know this campground now. I know how I need to do things. And if I can do another year of dealing with this and I can get through that year, then I believe that I can go pretty much anywhere and do any of the jobs that, we get offered. But we got the next contract, and I'm hoping that, it goes just as good as this one is.
Awesome. So we talked about your perspective, but let's talk about maybe the camper's perspective. You said there's not very many rude ones, which is fantastic. I mean, they're everywhere. You're bound to run into them enough. But like, what is one thing that you wish the campers knew about the campground hosts? Like, what's something, if you could share to anybody that's watching that is a camper, that they may not know about the campground hosts?
Well, other than the fact that we do this every day, we don't get a break.
No
we do
days
this every
off.
day, right?
7 days a week. Remember that.
Yeah, it's all the same routine. You do the same routine, everything gets done. But the big one is it's not like the old days anymore, where you would go to a campground and you just pick a spot and you just pay for that spot. You do the envelope and you're there for as long as you want to be until you take off. It's all online reservations now.
Okay.
That's the big one. We can't make the reservations for you, and if we have days or weeks open, we still can only do first come first serve each day. That's the hardest part, is when people come up here and they just want to get a spot, and then now it's our problem that they did not prepare. And it's I miss the old days. I love those old days, old KOAs, and then the redwoods and Sequoia. You just go there and pick a spot, but it's not like that anymore, and we can't do anything about that.
And we've noticed that things are changing. Even within our 1,000 Trails membership that we have, you used to be able to go in and pick your site and tell the front what site you're in, and you're golden. And they've even moved to, they're putting you in sites and stuff in advance. And so be prepared ahead of time, because even remote primitive campsites like this, when we were talking, you said, yes, we want to hold this site. And we're like, here's our card. And you're like, I can't take it. You got to go online, you got to lock it in, or you got to show up with the cash in the envelope. But then it's on a first come, first serve basis. So
absolutely,
a little preparation, a little diligence is going to go a long way.
And being nice to the host. You know, I got the keys.
Being nice to the host, yet the host is the one who brought the cocktails over to the campsite tonight. So, which it's about time for another one. But before we wrap up here and get a campfire and some more whiskey going, is there anything else that you want to tell the people watching about work camping, or anything else that we've really talked about?
A big thing that I think that we should be honest about is it's not easy. It's not easy to get to this position. You know, we sold our house. We were very smart with our money. We only got what we needed, and that's how we're able to do this. We're saving and everything. You can't just leave your house, buy a crappy camper, and just start rolling. You need a decent car. You got to pay insurance. You have to have insurance on your camper. You have to have phone service. You got to figure out your internet. There's things that you're still going to have to do. And when you start most of these jobs, depending on when you come in, you could be waiting 3 weeks for a paycheck. And that's the big one, is you can't just drop everything and do this.
Right.
That's a big one. You need to have some kind of preparation. And the way this works for us is in a 6-month contract on the one that we're on now, just having fun, paying our bills, we still save around $9,000 a year in the bank. That's moving forward, but you have to have something to settle on first, and you have to be good with your money.
Got it. And I think that's a brilliant last closing piece of advice, is you've got to be financially sound to make this happen. Again, it's not a get-rich job. It's a job that you do because you love it. You love being outdoors. You love connecting with people who love the same things that you do. But it's not a path to crazy financial freedom. So, and you mentioned it earlier in our chat, you know, you've got to be smart about what you're getting and what you're spending on, and cutting down expenses and those sorts of things to make it possible. And that's a lot of the same stuff that Vanessa and I did. I mean, she flew back to Florida a month or two ago and downsized one of our 2 storage units. Like, we sold the house, we sold stuff in storage, and we were paying for a storage unit, 2 of them every month.
Yep.
So now we're down to 1, and the idea now to get it down to 0 at some point. So we're constantly cutting those down, which makes something like this more and more viable, because you're carrying less overhead. Like, once we don't have the Jeep payment at the end of this year, that'll be great. So that's really solid.
It's really nice knowing that what you have with you in your camper is the only thing you have to be responsible for, right? It's really nice when you have nothing sitting back at home in storage, when you have no other car issues that are back home, no other family issues. Once you disconnect everything, and you'll find over the couple weeks, we had brought in stuff that we thought we needed, and we have learned very quickly that some things we just don't touch. Like some things we have not used at all, and all it is taking up space at this point.
We've been there.
Yeah, it takes time to kind of downsize because you're still giving up a full house and going from that to just what you're driving around in. Your car and your trailer are now your home.
And you figure out what's important from a physical possession standpoint pretty quick.
Oh yeah, and being out here in general, I've learned a lot of the technology stuff is not necessary. We barely play our games, and I'm going to be honest, nature, I don't think I've ever seen it the way that I do now.
That's fantastic.
It is.
That's fantastic.
Mosquitoes can die though.
And the mosquitoes, yeah, they're starting to come out. We got to get the thermocells going. This wasn't intended to be a crazy super deep dive on work camping because you're actually doing some work camping videos on your YouTube channel. So what's your YouTube channel? Where can they tune in to find more and learn about life of someone who's work camping?
So our YouTube channel is Cross Country Celts, all C's.
Okay.
We only have about 5 or 6 videos. We're about to post one up here tonight. We're not really looking to become a big YouTube channel. All our goal is to just be honest about what we're doing. Be honest about how we're doing it, what we're getting paid, these kind of things. We just want to give people the information without the drama. And it's kind of like why I like your guys' videos. Yeah. Your wife's videos are so informative. And they're just straight to the point. They give you all the detail. You do good videos of all that you're looking at. People feel like they're there when they see your videos. And that's what I want to see. I want to know what I'm looking forward to when I go somewhere. And so I just feel like that's important. We've gone so crazy with drama on YouTube. We just need to be honest and show what it is that we're doing.
Awesome. So we'll go ahead and drop a link to their channel down in the description below, so check that out. But also, if you have any comments, questions, you want to know more, feel free to drop them down below. We'll do our best to tag team the answers together and follow up and get them to you. And if anything, like I said, make sure you check out his channel. But right now, it's time to get another drink, get a campfire going, and get some thermocells because the mosquitoes are getting bad.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
I went like this, like wrap it up, because what you said right there at the end, I was like, that's done.